Yeah. And which one is it? So I just need a 4 mile.
I know, I'm looking at it
I
too.
got distracted, bro.
I know, I'm staring at it too.
I got you. So anyway, you just go on the 4 mile?
I went on the website.
We have an opening March 3rd.
We're going on February 8th. Like, that time. No, I don't know if you can.
Now, my opinion is, I know you guys are very...
I know. Hi, Heather. Good, how are you? Good to see you.
Not on that. When we go to bed, we go to bed.
That's all right.
Like,
You smell good too.
why?
So he stays in his kennel? Did they teach him that or did you do the help? Because of course they're not going to sleep in the cell. You don't understand. He just eggs out. And he's good.
Oh yeah, it's about every 2 hours.
Hey, what up, bro? How you doing?
So part of the jump is no training. Because that was weak. But you still have training. Don't encourage it. You know that I get so there's you want so don't do that.
I'm doing this right now, and then I'll put it down. I didn't get it.
That's it.
I'm so emotional about it.
That's right. That'll be bro, what you got Yeah, I say a few things that she picks up, but it's not real fast. Which one? Oh, it's the dog, yeah. see, that's Ty. Yeah, well, this is Ty. First time she knew my type. And then I know what she's saying, but like, you know, I didn't outside the other day. I call my daughter and I say, this one ain't on me because I don't say that. And then my daughter goes, yeah, I say that. That's all I'm going to do. I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like, right away I'm going to tell myself, I don't say that. You know what I mean? Then she loves that.
Hi, I'm Mike.
They all retain.
Something for us. Yeah, that's right. That is who I thought that was. Yeah, I would. Don't you worry about this
What's up? You ready to go?
Nobody needs to hear that. Well, she did, yes.
We're going to have you. We're going to have you stand up. The mics are right
They got to be really.
Ready for that? Excited?
Oh, makes her good, yeah. That might be one. Hey, Mike. Yeah, that's where it is. Yeah, just some minute. You guys will work your asses off. It's good though.
I was, I had this, the anxiety, like having like 7 people here. It'd be awesome, you guys. There. And I'm not a big Facebook guy, so I wouldn't be happy to live stream it. So do coin toss. Whoever wins gets the big one. All right. Tails it is. Go last.
Open first, close first, right? I open first, and close first.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Hey, you got it?
And you want to go last. Yeah. Nick, so we only have 2 microphones here.
Okay.
So it's all right with you guys up here on each side because space for the microphone, and they put the strong microphone on their side, and you and I, because we can connect it better.
Okay.
Over here. So I'll sit, you stand.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Hey, yeah, we only have 2 microphones.
Okay.
So we have to tighten up the group
Okay.
where they can't hear me. Either they're going to hear you or me.
Okay.
So
So you'll be sitting down.
I'll just sit right next to you. Right to your left. Yep.
Oh, no, they sold that.
Why'd you do that? I was sitting frowning on my lap.
I didn't either. It wasn't even direct. I'm joking.
This one should be Heather's if things sound a little odd. Don't be shy to switch them. So
Okay.
that one should be Heather's, and she'll be standing by you for both voices.
And then I'll just turn it on.
So red's off.
Okay, when you hit it, just press red off. All right.
So, can you get Sure. It's not the place.
I'm not worried about that. All the water rates now, you have to wait until all the.
There's this one as Well, okay, so like I said, with the Mayoral, you can
Thank you so much. You guys did an amazing job.
Now they just turn over, bro. When they do it. You guys did it. Oh, they did. Nice to meet you. Yeah. We used to do that for
Yes, I sit it out there.
It's all over. Yeah, we challenge that. You know, with the I will be glad to.
It's been a marathon. No, that was
Yeah, give Mike some tea.
Twice in a month we see each other. 6 weeks, whatever.
Well, there was some, you know, they were the dirt
She got salary.
Ready, Mikey? Get him, bro. Get him. One elevator at a time. Like steps together, that way. Oh, it is. Yeah, that's well, yeah. We get
Mike, don't forget to turn the microphone on. If you want to wait till they come up, or do you want to do it now?
So, do what? Well, we can start. Guys, I'm a minute behind, so we'll get this thing started. Good evening. My name is Mike Spoon. To my left is Marlene Barrier. I'm the governor.
Microphone.
I'm actually am using a microphone. So, can you guys hear me in the back? Yep. Okay, sorry. So, I'm doing the best I can. So anyway, to my left is Marlene Barrier. We are both realtors in Pueblo here, and I'm on the Government Affairs Committee and the Board of Directors. She's a past Board of Director, past President. So a couple things real quick. First of all, before I forget myself, I want to thank these ladies up front and Katie in the back, Tess, Mindy, Sammy. So for those of you that don't work in our industry, we all have, the realtors all come up with all these great ideas, and then we dump on these three to have them make it happen for us. So they are why we are here tonight.
And so I can't say thank you enough to you guys. And also, second to that is our Government Affairs Committee, and there's a whole bunch of us in here. I see them sitting around. This is all free. We don't. All righty.
Get on with the questions.
I've been timed out. So see, this is Pueblo. It's a great thing. We have fun here. So anyway, our Government Affairs Committee's here. They volunteer their time in hoping to advocate for this community on the local level, on the state level. Some of us have traveled nationally to advocate. We advocate for property rights, for your homeowners exemptions on your taxes. That's why we're here. And that's why we're here tonight, is to help our community go forward, and I hope that you guys appreciate that. Just a couple things. We encourage applause. We prefer not to hear the boos. Let's all try and be polite. This is a happy, nice little community. Let's keep it that way. This is their time to tell us where their stance is on the issues, not to shout from the crowd, please. So rules, we're going to try and keep the questions, Nick and Heather, to a couple minutes for the responses. That hopefully is enough. If you feel like it's not, shout. But we'll also do a 1-minute rebuttal. If you feel like we need additional time, say something to us. We did do a coin toss. Heather won. I think that's 3-0 now on the coin toss. I've been to all these. I'm a sick man, and so anyway, she has chosen to go last. So with that, we will begin with Marlene.
Great. Why don't you both come on up?
Well, hopefully the microphone thing works. Nick and I are sharing one, and Heather and Marlene are sharing a microphone.
Right. So Nick, this question will be for you first. I wanted to ask, our growth, relative to the rest of Colorado, Pueblo has statistically seen much less growth than other cities. Do you think Pueblo needs to grow? If so, how much?
Ooh, yes, I do think Pueblo needs to grow. You know, that was one of the reasons why I pushed to change our form of government in the city of Pueblo, is because in the last 60 years, the population of Colorado has tripled. Pueblo's has grown by about 10%. And that's not good enough for us to sustain an economy here. So I think we do need to grow. I think we will grow. And we're going to grow in Pueblo because other communities that are our competitors, some like Pueblo West, do not have the water supply that the city of Pueblo has. Colorado Springs leases water from the city of Pueblo. So those communities that have had those growth spurts are coming to the realization that they do not have enough water to supply their population. As a result of that, you're going to see a lot more of that growth come to Pueblo.
Thank you, Nick.
Do we get a welcome?
You know what? We did forget to have the welcome.
We bypassed that,
We
sorry.
bypassed that. Sorry about that. Would you like
do
to
that now, or
We can go ahead and do our opening
Mary, do you want
statement.
to do that first? Or
What's that?
A welcome?
We didn't do a very good job of the opening statement, Nick, so.
Hey, I'm going with the flow.
Go with the flow, that's good.
You want an opening statement?
Let's do an opening statement. Go
Yep,
ahead.
and then she can come back and answer question 1.
All right, well, let me do a brief opening. I won't take much time. I don't want to repeat. You know, this is, I think, the third appearance that we've had together. I assume a lot of you have seen that before, so I don't want to repeat everything that I've said in the previous ones, but my name is Nick Gradisar. I've been privileged and honored to be the mayor of the city of Pueblo for the last 5 years, the first mayor in the city of Pueblo in nearly 80 years. And I think during my term in office, we've accomplished some remarkable things here in the city of Pueblo. Our sales tax numbers are doing spectacularly. They've increased by $23 million a year since I became the mayor. Our inquiries from developers and builders has increased during the time that I've been the mayor. We've tried to make it easier to do business in the city of Pueblo. The city of Pueblo was the first one to have that electronic portal that Pueblo County and Pueblo West are now incorporating into their ways of doing business. So we've had some great things happening, and I think we've had a really cooperative, collaborative relationship with the county commissioners in the city of Pueblo. And so we're working together on these kind of things. We've got some problems here, obviously. Crime is a problem, homelessness is a problem. You can't say that you're concerned about crime and vote to kill the jail. You can't say you're concerned about homelessness and vote against the warming shelter. You can't say you're against drug addiction and vote against the harm reduction center, which all of these things my opponent did. So I look forward to tonight's discussion. Thank you very much.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay. I think if we get close, okay. Welcome everybody, and thank you for being here tonight. This is a very important election we have coming up in 13 days, and so taking your time out of your evening and being here is so very important to the community, so thank you. And thank you, PAR, for allowing us to be here and coming up with some questions for us to answer. For those of you that do not know me, I'm Heather Graham. I'm your current at-large City Council president, or not president anymore, member, and I've been the City Council president for the last 2 years. I'm a business owner of 3 restaurants in Pueblo, the Graham's Grills and Ruby's across the street. I employ over 100 Puebloans. I became involved with city government during COVID when my restaurants were shut down. I went to city council several times and I saw a lack from the mayor and from the city government in being able to open our businesses safely. The mayor will tell you that I held a rally at his office with over 500 people. Yeah, I did that. I did that because I was dissatisfied with city government and the mayor's office and how they treated the small business community. Over the last 2 years in city council, I put plans in place for large citywide cleanups, passed a shoplifting ordinance to hold criminals accountable, created grants for small businesses, brought more transparency to the city and county government, and certainly last but not least, I helped with the recruitment and the retention of the police officers in our department. As mayor, I will be a unifying leader that will listen to the hopes and concerns of all residents. I will collaborate with all 7 members of city council to move projects forward in their districts. I believe that safety, beautification, community engagement, and a 5-year strategic plan are key priorities to move the city forward, and I'm confident that I have the skills to do so. I will work to create a more business-friendly community, make our neighborhoods safe, prevent and address homelessness, and establish a government that is both effective and efficient and works for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
The growth, yeah, so that's been a key topic for us over the last couple of debates. And I think, of course, we want to grow right. We want to grow responsibly, but I think that in order to grow, we have to fix the foundation in Pueblo. We have a high crime rate right now. We have an abundant amount of homeless. We have problem in our educational systems. It's one of the first calls I get is, how are your school districts? And so I think in moving forward, the mayor and the city council and county commissioners and school boards are going to have to collaborate to come up with a plan for Pueblo and what our plan looks like and what our direction looks like and how we want to grow responsibly. We all want more businesses here. We want more people to spend their money so we can grow our budget in order to provide more public safety, pave more roads, as the mayor will say, and just make the community really enjoyable for everybody.
Thank you. Nick, a lot of people confuse the Union Historic District, the Riverwalk, and downtown. Downtown doesn't start until City Center Drive. What are you going to do to invigorate that part of our city?
The downtown part of the city?
Yes.
Well, certainly encourage, obviously that property, all those buildings downtown are held by private property owners. So we certainly meet with individuals in my office who are interested, for instance, in the Colorado building, that old historic building, in terms of apartments or complexes and things like that. I think the secret to all those areas that you've talked about is having more people living there. Now those are massive undertakings there. One of the things we've done for the downtown area is we've changed our land use code. So now you can have multiple uses in a single building. You can have commercial on the ground floor and residential on the upper floors. When I became the mayor, that wasn't possible in the city of Pueblo. That's one of the first changes we made that I think will help revitalize that area. But I think we have to talk with the property owners there and get some of those buildings moving maybe. into other hands for people, and we're having investors from Denver. There are people that are coming to some of those old buildings, the one catty corner from Solar Roast. I think there are 40 apartment buildings in that building now. So things are happening downtown. We have to do more, but I think that's the key, is talking with those building owners and having them put those properties in productive use.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that we need to strengthen the downtown area. I think that the city should be prioritizing the landscape down there, the flower beds, and keeping them looking great. So when people are getting off City Center Drive, that's what you see in Pueblo. You see what our downtown looks like and how beautiful the city has kept it. Again, if elected mayor, I would like to work with the council to pass a no sit, no lie ordinance for downtown to take some of the hindrance off the businesses. When you have the homeless individuals laying in front of your store, we can do that and we can be safe about it, and it needs to be done. I'd like to see the bike patrol brought back in downtown, but we obviously need to hire more police officers to do that. But I think having police in the downtown area would help to curb a lot of the crime that's going down there. I think we have to market the downtown area better. If elected, I'd like to increase the marketing department we have at the city and make it a community engagement department, so that you know what events are going on, where it's going on, what time, a whole calendar that will be creative to showcase what Pueblo has, the great nonprofits that we have, and what's going on. And I think the downtown needs a grocery store. It's a food desert, and in order to bring businesses and housing down there, you have to have a place to get food. So I think that those are all important things that I'll work on if elected.
Thank you.
You know, I've talked to developers, and they are, you think a downtown grocery store maybe, but I think we have to rethink that a little bit. That's not how people are going to be getting their groceries. Right now, you can have your groceries delivered by King Soopers, by Safeway, by Amazon. That's going to become more and more common. So although we talked about food deserts and those kind of things, I think as we transition to these new way of doing things, that's going to become less and less important. And that's not something the city can do anyway. We're not going to get in the grocery business. Obviously, if people thought it was profitable, there would be a grocery store downtown. But I think we need to think about that a little bit, not just say we need a grocery store downtown when perhaps that's not how people are going to get their groceries.
Thank you. Would you like to rebuttal? No?
I mean, I think most people go to the grocery store to get their groceries. Yeah, you can get them off Amazon or King Soopers delivery, but it'd be nice to be able to go into a grocery store, feel safe doing so, get your groceries and go back home. And I think when people look about living urban and living in the downtown area, and you don't have many restaurants that are open 7 days a week, and it's a food desert, you have to have a grocery store, and it will bring tax revenue to the city. So I don't know why anybody would be discounting a grocery store. I'm not saying the city should open a grocery store, but we should be an advocate and help somebody who wants to.
So, moving on. So as realtors, we're kind of the front lines. Most people, when they come to town, we're the first people that get contacted often. Often what we're hearing is it's hard to develop commercial and residential real estate in Pueblo. Without lowering our building and development standards, how can you streamline and adjust the process, including, but not limited to, permitting, planning, zoning, the red tape that everybody seems to hit?
Should I go first?
Who's that?
Next.
I think that's everything.
That's
I
what,
think
yeah,
yes.
that's, yeah.
Okay. So I'd like to see, and if elected again, I'll have somebody in my office doing this, an economic development admin, who's a liaison for the internal workflow for the city, and who really helps to navigate when developers, whether it's residential or commercial, are coming into the city, need help with permit processing. We've heard several times from developers that the open gov is an issue. It's hard to get through, it's hard to navigate. We're trying to do the Pueblo Means Business Task Force. It's kind of been at a standstill. I know one of the commissioners is working really hard on getting that open, but I think you have to have open communication. I think the city needs to be the leader in that, because you can see in every other community it's developing, high rises are going up, multifamily buildings are going up, and nothing's really going up in Pueblo. So I think it's important to have that case-by-case situation, not lowering the standards, but having somebody holding your hand to walk through the process and push the processes along.
Sir.
Well, we do have an economic development facilitator in the mayor's office. It's called the mayor. That's what I do each and every day, is meet with people who are trying to move through that system. That's what the mayor's job and responsibility is, to try to help those developers facilitate their projects. I do that a lot. Some of the people I've met with on those projects are in this room tonight, so you know what I'm talking about. We have, as I indicated in my opening remarks, developed Pueblo Place, which is an online portal that you can get a permit, a license, or file a code enforcement complaint if you have that there. You know, obviously, for decades, development in Pueblo has been slow. When I became the mayor, we didn't have anybody working in the city that knew how to develop stuff because they hadn't done it. We now have a team together. We have a great team put together that are really helping facilitate some of these developments, and I think they're going through a lot faster than they did when I became the mayor, simply because they're more experienced now and they know what they're doing, versus when I became the mayor they didn't, because those opportunities had not been presented to them.
The only comment I have is I just didn't know that you were the development recruiter for the city. And if you are, I'm curious on why the standstill in development over the last 5 years in Pueblo.
What stands still in development?
What's happening?
We've had more subdivision applications filed. Take a look at what's going on Pueblo Boulevard. The development over there, the Maverick Station at I-25.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
That was before you became the mayor. Those have been going on since before you became the mayor. Those are long processes.
You're not serious, are you?
I am.
All right.
All right, okay, thank you. You both have been in leadership for at least 2 years. One of the questions we face when buyers come to town is our city's image problems. What have you done, and what is your plan going forward to help correct these issues, like barriers to progress, such as needle exchange programs and homelessness?
Needle exchange programs and homelessness?
Yes.
Yep. Well, we have funded a harm reduction center in Bessemer. A needle exchange has been going on in Bessemer for a decade. They've had a needle exchange in Bessemer. There's a building at Abriendo and Northern that a nonprofit acquired. They want to open that up. 1 day a week for 4 hours, there will be a needle exchange there. The rest of the time, there will be programs there for homeless individuals, people that are addicted to drugs, so that to help them get in treatment. Obviously, one of the things we've done for the homeless, when I became the mayor, we had no shelter for the homeless in the city of Pueblo. We now have on 4th Street a 100-bed permanent shelter for the homeless. Obviously, in the last 60 days, we have acquired a building that's being used as a warming shelter. My opponent voted against that. She said, well, we'll just open up the transit center, let them sleep on the floor at the transit center. So we've done a lot for homeless. We still have a lot to do. The number one problem with the homeless people in the city of Pueblo is that they have a mental health disorder. So we have to get much more aggressive in our outpatient treatment of mental health if we want to make a difference in this homeless problem.
Thank you.
In my time on council, both of these things have come across our agenda, and he's right. I was a no vote on the needle exchange program, and I was a no vote on giving the rescue mission a $400,000 building with no strings attached, because there's no reporting from them. We have no oversight of them. We've seen their financials. We knew that they would not be able to financially run this additional building. The city has dug the rescue mission a $400,000 hole. And I'm sorry for that. That should have never happened. The city should have retained the building, and we should have put out an RFP, and the mission could have answered if they wanted to host a shelter in there. We had several other nonprofits willing to host the shelter, and I just don't think that that was feasible or responsible on the city. As far as the needle exchange goes, I was a no vote on that. I've been to the businesses down there. We've heard them speak at city council. I personally have been there cleaning up needles behind those businesses. And it passed. It passed because somebody advocated for it to pass, and that person was not me. Councilor Maestri and me voted against it. We'll stand strong against the needle exchange. I'm even willing to go the extra mile and say, from the needle exchange, I think the caps and the color of the insert should be a different color, and so we can really track if these needles are being exchanged or just have it given out. That's accountability, and I think that that's something the city should do. So when we talk about homelessness, crime, and what have you done, I voted against two things that I thought were irresponsible. But one thing I did do is I passed a shopping ban. So now in the city of Pueblo, if you steal $300 or more, you will face a mandatory 3-day jail sentence. That never happened before. So merchants came to me, citizens came to me concerned, and I took action. And now if you steal $300 or more, you'll spend 3 mandatory days in jail.
Yeah, there have been a few people who've spent 3 days in jail. That's not a really good deterrent. When you catch somebody shoplifting, you give them 3 days in jail 5 months from now. What we've done is we've worked out a deal with the sheriff of Pueblo County who has a jail. It's a felony-only jail. But in December, we had 36 municipal prisoners in that jail because of the arrangements that we've made with the sheriff. We said to him, hey, we have these repeat offenders. If we catch somebody 3 times in a year, instead of just writing them a ticket, we want to put them in jail and make them bond out. Take them to jail immediately when we catch them. And he said, that's fine. We're doing that now for some of those people that are committing those crimes, those repeat offenders. So there are consequences for people doing that. But to say that it was foolish for the city to purchase this building for a warming shelter and that we have no control over it, we do. We have a security interest in that building. Our only concern is that it be used for a warming shelter and to provide services to the homeless. As long as the Pueblo Rescue Mission does that, they're going to be fine. If they don't do that, we're going to take it back. The city will take it back. So to say we just gave it to them is just not true. Previously, what we did was we paid $2,500 a night for every night we opened a warming shelter with other agencies. We don't do that anymore. This is all on the Pueblo Rescue Mission now. So I think we've made remarkable progress, and we have a permanent solution to that warming shelter problem.
You didn't have any further. Okay. So, excuse me. So, we're on the anniversary of, or the day that our legislature starts up again today. Last year, the state legislature tried to pass legislation for rent control, giving the municipalities, the authority to impose rent control. Where do you stand on that?
I think the only way a municipality should be enforcing rent control on any landlord is if they're going to subsidize their property tax and make them whole. That's where I stand.
You know, I'm a free market capitalist. I don't think the government ought to set or control rents. The market will tell you what the rent is. And if the rent's too high, you don't control the rents. What you do is you increase the supply, and that will bring the cost of rents down. That's how I view it. My opponent has suggested that there be rent controls in affordable housing and that these landlords somehow would get some kind of break on their property tax. I'm not in favor of that. I'm a free market capitalist, and I believe that the market will decide what the rent should be.
That's fine, but I mean, we're concerned about affordable housing. We're concerned about the unhoused population being out on the street every night. You're concerned, you opened a warming shelter for them to be there. And so when we talk about what can the city do when it comes to affordable housing and how can we control that narrative, the only way to control the narrative is to give property tax rebates, because that's all the city can do. So if you want to strengthen our affordable housing, that's something that we're going to have to look at.
So we built 49, contributed to 49 affordable housing units in the city of Pueblo last year. One of the things we did 2 years ago, I got the city council to pass a vacant property tax, or ordinance, not a tax. It's a registration that requires vacant properties to be registered. If an owner of a vacant property, if you don't use a property, if you don't live in a property for more than 30 days in a year, it's vacant. You have to pay a $500 registration fee, or you have to pay a $500 fine. We have about 340 of those properties right now that we have liens on in the city of Pueblo. And Monday night, the city council passed on first reading an ordinance. The next 33 of those liens are going to be made available to the public and to investors. And you know which houses these are. These are these boarded up houses in our neighborhoods that are a blight on our neighborhoods. They're usually in our older neighborhoods, but sometimes they're in some newer neighborhoods. But these are properties that for whatever reason, the owner has not paid attention to them. We're hoping that by selling these liens, another investor will get that property, foreclose the lien, put that property back into productive use. And they won't be in it for $500,000. So it'll be affordable housing. They won't have to charge an arm and a leg for rent. Or if they're gonna flip it, they don't have to get $500,000 because they'll be in it for $100,000. And it's these neighborhoods where you can't get a $500,000 for it. But it will increase the housing supply. You know, we have more vacant houses in the city of Pueblo than we have homeless.
Probably at time, am I right?
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right. Thank you. As ambassadors of our city, it is important that you have a grasp on each sector that you serve. As realtors, one of the primary concerns of potential buyers moving into our community is our schools and lack of quality educational opportunities. While we are aware that the city government does not oversee the district, we still believe that advocacy and proactivity provide a solution-based approach to education in our city, a topic that can statistically be tied to currently high youth crime rates and mental health problems. How will you better bridge the gaps of our educational system in Pueblo?
What? I couldn't understand anything.
She says,
I can't understand her at all.
Is that Hillary?
how would you bridge the gaps with
Yeah.
education?
Heather,
The question is about bridging the gaps with education in the city. So I think obviously the city, that's not under our realm of what we do, but I think that it's important that we continue to have conversations with both school districts, both school boards, and again, create a strategic plan moving forward and what we want to see as far as education goes. Essentially, we want to make kids go to school and we want to make the streets less desirable for kids to be on. I think that we need to bring the DARE program back into school. That's something that the police officers used to put on and they don't put on anymore. But when I was in school, that was very impactful. And so if elected, I will work with both school districts to try to come up with ideas and solutions that are obtainable, and again, try to put the DARE program back in schools.
Well, we're going to have a tremendous opportunity in our community in the next 12 months with respect to our educational system here, because we're going to have a new president of PCC, a new president of CSUP, a new superintendent of District 60. My plan is to gather all those people together and make sure they understand how important a first-class educational system is to this community for our economic development efforts and for our kids. Make no mistake about it, you can get a first-class education in Pueblo Public Schools right now. We've had Betcher Scholars coming out of Pueblo Central High School, South High School, so you can get a first-class education in our high schools now. We have worked with the school district. One of the programs I'm proudest of is we got a grant from Harvard and Bloomberg to work with middle schoolers who are in that point where they're deciding whether they're going to jump into a gang or not. We started a program at Heaton Middle School that the school sent 8 kids there, I think, and it was called Let's Talk About It, where we meet with them once a week. And they would do art and therapy. This was so successful, and they noticed such a change in those kids' behavior that last summer, 450 kids enrolled in a program that District 60 ran over the summer. This year, they've expanded that program to 3 middle schools in the city of Pueblo. So while we don't control the educational system, in the mayor's office, as long as I'm the mayor, we'll continue to work with them for those kind of innovative programs that will make a long-term difference in the lives of our youth in this community.
So, high utility bills are a problem in our city. How do you intend to relieve high bills for the citizens of Pueblo, especially those on fixed and low income? That would be Heather, or Nick first,
To
sorry.
me?
yeah.
Well, I'm proud to say, I spent 14 years on the water board. The water bill is the lowest. You pay the lowest amount for water on the Front Range in the state of Colorado. Now, your bill might be high, but it's because of city charges, not because of the water charges. But obviously, we have high utility bills, high electric bills. We had an election in 2020, unfortunately, right during COVID, to make a determination about whether or not we would take over the the city would supply electricity, take over. We lost that election. I mean, Black Hills, they wanted to keep that. We have a high electric rate now because we're paying for the gas generating station at the Pueblo Airport. That's why our electric rates are higher than anybody else's. But if you saw the report last week, the rest of the state is going to catch up with us, because if they're talking about building a nuclear reactor, the ratepayers in Pueblo or in Denver are going to pay for that reactor, not the citizens in Pueblo, because we don't get any of that energy. So, you know, obviously in terms of development, one of the things we've done in the city is we waived connection fees for sewer fees for some projects and have offered to do that for affordable housing. The Board of Waterworks has additionally agreed to commit $250,000 a year in plant water investment fee waivers for affordable housing projects. So that's some of the things we can do to keep that down.
I don't have a whole lot to add because the city doesn't control the utility bills, but the city can be an advocate for low-income families when it comes time for developers coming in. We can ask that you put energy efficient in households to make it less strenuous on low-income housing. I think that's important. I think it's important to have our city grant writer seek grants to help with low-income housing and making their energy more efficient.
Thank you.
So we have a second piece to this question. So in the Chieftain this week, in light of the findings of the Pueblo Innovative Energy Solutions Advisory Committee to convert Comanche 3 to an advanced nuclear facility, do you feel this is the right direction for our community?
Yeah. I think the direction of the community is what should be takes in the most property tax dollars and what keeps the most jobs in Pueblo. Right now we have Excel workers out at Comanche, about 100 of them that are thinking about leaving the community. These are $100,000 paying jobs. That money is spent here locally, and they're thinking about leaving now, depending on what happens to Comanche. Other energy sources you saw in the newspaper, whether that's wind or solar, they might be great startups, but they don't keep the jobs and they don't keep the property tax. According to our PISAC committee, the only source of energy that could even come close to what's going on now is advanced nuclear. They say that we can have $95 million in property tax and 200 to 300 jobs. And so I think it's important in this position, and the only thing that the mayor should be concerned about is the property tax revenue coming out of Comanche and the jobs, and making sure that those jobs stay to local workers in Pueblo.
One of the primary concerns, I think, as your mayor, is the safety and the health of the citizens of this community. You know, since when Comanche was built, you know, we have suffered the pollution that is put out in Comanche 3. The citizens of the city of Pueblo did, while Denver and the northern part of Colorado got that cheap energy. I don't think that's a good trade-off. You know, they say the nuclear is safe, but it's a pipe dream. This is a pipe dream. There's no way, and the PSAC committee said as much, that advanced nuclear is not going to be available probably till 2040. So Comanche 3 is going to close in 2030. We can't sit back and say, well, we're going to have advanced nuclear so we don't have to do anything else. 2 years ago, I put together a just transition committee made up of city leaders. We meet on a monthly basis, and we're in the process of hiring a just transitions coordinator. We're deluding ourselves if we think we have to replace the generation at Comanche with additional generation. We don't. We can replace it with other industries that will contribute to the property tax and the jobs. Did the time expire?
You're good.
Okay.
All right, Heather, this question is for you. The first 100 days in office, often set the tone for the remainder of the term. What are your priorities in your first 100 days?
So top priority is addressing public safety. We know how long it takes to be a police officer. It's about 9 months. That's not sufficient for as many officers as we're down right now. We need to expedite that process. I'm not talking about lowering standards for police. I'm talking about the Civil Service Commission and how long that takes to get the process rolling. So if elected, it is in my jurisdiction to put a pause on the Civil Service Commission to expedite the hiring of police officers, in which we need to do. We're down 60 cops right now, with who knows how many more are going to be gone before May, when our next academy starts. I promise to collaborate with all members of City Council, listening to all needs of their districts, and forming a strategic plan with our partners at the county, our partners at the school district, and our directors within the city on what we want the city to look like coming in the next 5 years. We don't have a strategic plan right now. We have no plan. And I think it's also important to engage in the community and restore and build confidence in the mayor's office, and work with the groups that we don't normally work with. One group that always kind of gets the short end of the stick when it comes to the city is the veterans, and that's unfortunate. And so we have a huge veteran community in Pueblo, and I think that the city and the mayor should be working to hear their needs along with all other needs of the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, let me just respond to the veterans part. We take care of our veterans here, but the county has an Office of Veteran Affairs. You know, and my sense is that we, as a government, we want to be efficient. We don't want to be duplicating services. So we don't want to set up the same kind of office that the county has to provide the same kind of services. Does that make sense to people, that we do that? I think that doesn't make any sense. My first 100 days in office, we'll reassess the situation. We'll take a look at our leadership team. We'll look at where we've been and where we're going to go. We do have plans. We have a capital improvement plan that we adopt every year. The council adopts it in the budget, saying this is where we're going to go. We have a plan for the first time for our streets. We have a plan. We've driven every single residential street, every street in the city of Pueblo, with equipment, sonars and lasers. And we have a plan for the replacement of these streets. We have a plan. So this idea that there aren't any capital improvement plans, there aren't any strategic plans, just isn't true. So the first 100 days is a chance to reset, look at where we've been, where we're going, who's gotten us there, and who's going to take us forward.
Right on.
Thank you. Okay, closing statements. We want to thank both of you for your time. As we wrap up the evening's debate, we will grant each of you 3 minutes to give us your closing statement.
And I go first, I guess.
You get to go first.
Yes.
All right. I lost the toss.
I'm right, I know I'm right on this one. One time.
I've lost every toss.
Ma'am, unfortunately, this isn't a forum for taking questions from the audience. We appreciate your effort, though.
But this is a democracy, so the public should have a
For sure. Just not here.
cost of living, and how about addressing that by not sending billions and billions of dollars to Israel?
So, thank you for that. We appreciate the input. Please, this is just a realtor forum, and so we appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, I just in closing, let me try to summarize. You know, I appreciate you all being here. I think it's important that you come out, that you hear the candidates, that you listen, that you have an opportunity.
We didn't charge you to get here either.
That you have an opportunity to listen to the candidates, what their positions are, where they've been, what their experience has been. You know, Councilor Graham has spent 2 years on the city council. You've had an opportunity to see how they operate over the last couple of years. The city council, under her leadership, they don't talk to each other. I mean, she says when she's the mayor, she's going to talk to the city council. It's going to be a cohesive group. Not going to happen. The city council, under her leadership, didn't talk to each other. I think what Councilor Graham doesn't understand is that if she becomes the mayor, she's going to have one less vote for her agenda than she has now, because the mayor doesn't get a vote. And to get anything through the city council, you have to work with them. We've done that. We've had a remarkable, in the last 2 years, probably 10 ordinances have not passed. 273 passed in 2022, 263 in 2023. So all of those things have happened. I'm a believer in property rights. As I said earlier, I am an opponent of the government controlling rent or setting rent controls or incentivizing people to set rent controls, because that bureaucracy, you can imagine how that would be. The vacant property liens, I think, will have an effect on affordable housing in the city of Pueblo. Doesn't happen overnight. Hardly anything happens overnight. We're planning for this community, though. We got 3 new fire stations that we're building next year around the city that have been years in the planning. We just borrowed the money last month, $34 million, to build those fire stations at 3.6% interest. So we're doing great there. We're in the process of revising our land use codes and putting zoning and land use together in one document that'll make it easier for people to develop. It might be a year, it might be 2. We're working on an accessory dwelling structure that will allow homeowners in certain parts of town with appropriate lot sizes to put accessory dwelling units there, a casita or a mother-in-law apartment. That will help our affordable housing supply in the city of Pueblo. I'm proud to say that I've been endorsed by the Pueblo Association of Home Builders. Today I was notified that I'm endorsed by the Southern Colorado Apartment Association. So those are important because I think those organizations recognize what I've done during my 5 years as mayor to make development easier in this community and to move this community forward for the benefit of all of us. Thank you very much. I appreciate your vote.
Over the last week, you have heard my opponent and I debate on numerous topics: public safety, economic vitality, and how we will lead the city forward in the next 4 years. After summarizing my opponent's comments and answers, I've been left with this. Nick, you have had the tools, time, and money to change the face of Pueblo. We are a home rule city, and you have not used that to your advantage. You had had 5, not 4 years to make Pueblo shine, and you have had upwards of $45 million given to you. And today, we do not see Pueblo any better than it was when you took office 5 years ago. Your community is unsatisfied with your vision and lack of plan, and in 13 days, the people of Pueblo will decide who will lead this community forward. Tonight, I am asking for your support. Get your ballots in and vote for me. I will work to restore Pueblo, and I will put the tools to use. And I will listen to you, and I will bring the pride back to Pueblo. I want to thank my supporters, the many organizations I received endorsements for, my husband, my friends, my family, my employees, and every single one of you who has contributed your time, money, and effort to support me. I'm here to work for you, the diverse, hardworking Puebloans working for both sides of the aisle, the citizens who don't have that voice. I'm here to work for you. I ask for one thing in return: your vote. As of today, the city has received 8,000 ballots. Get your ballot turned in by January 23rd and make it a vote for Graham. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you for coming out today.
There's only one lady that can hear something.
I know, I was like, I'm trying.
Great job, bro. I don't know. I think I was like a monkey humping a football.
Those are the council meetings that just come from.
We got the job done.
You
guys did
And I was like,
I mean, I was sitting like right here. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Michael.
Marlene, you did a great job too.
good job.
Awesome. Thank you.
and you handled that well.
Yeah.
The Palestinian concern.
I'm like, you gotta get
Hey, we didn't even charge admission. We got entertainment.
Hey, I wanted to tackle that lady. No.
Let's go eat. Huh? Let's go eat. Yeah? All right. You know you don't have to talk me into that, Dave.
I know. You want to do the same thing, the envelopes?
Let me see where everybody's at real quick. Okay. It's all right.